Okay, welcome back to another video. Right now I'm doing one of those stage shots where I've got to set the camera up and now I'm just walking out to the garden and the camera's not on, but I know it's on. So anyway, welcome. Welcome to the garden. Weather in the garden, not great. Look, it's a pleasant day. Just got into double figures. We were up to 22 during the week and everyone was out in their t-shirts and shorts. And now it's kind of like 10 degrees again. So but it's perfect for working, so all is good. Yeah, so I've just done a basic clear today just to kind of see where we're at, try and see the ground again. There's no structure to this garden. I don't know if there ever was. I've noticed in France that they have gophers. I think it's gophers that wreck the ground. I haven't seen any here now. The dogs are chasing them and the dogs are digging holes. So there's no lawn here to speak of. I doubt there ever was, judging by the way it rolls and dips and rolls and dips. So I don't know what we're going to do with the garden yet. I think I'll get the drone up, take a shot of it, and try and come up with a plan. We have our basic terrace down next to the house, which we want to stone and drain and keep that as a kind of a dining area, just kind of a sit down, chill out area. It only really gets the sun in the afternoon, and even then the monster tree beside our garden blocks quite a lot of it, so it's not really look, that's south, that's west, I believe. That's south, and so the garden does get a good bit of sun, but as I say, that tree blocks it out, and there's three more of those trees there that kind of, yeah. Anyway, look, I know from last summer here, we came over in August, that it's too hot to sit out in the sunshine, so we'll probably be glad of a bit of shade. But we just need to decide what we go on here, what happens here with two young boys. They need to be outside, they need to be able to play safely. So there's a big drop there. It's not quite 2 meters, but it's not far off it, which we'll need to kind of separate from here to there. But yes, the garden space is actually pretty big, much bigger than we first kind of thought it was. I'll give you a little spin around tour. Sure, I'll do that now. Let's go. No point in me talking about stuff that you can't see. So last week, or the week before, I cleared what I believe it was a buxus plant from here. The leaves are still here. This is it here. So buxus or something very similar. Maybe it's Lenestra or one of those. I don't know. I got the name right, but it was huge. That was the size of it. One plant. These are normally small little shrubs that you kind of keep under control and they look nice, but this has been here forever. If you look at the size of the trunk that's left, and that was all spread out onto the ground, so it's just it was taking over this, and it was making the garden kind of not small, but it's actually quite big. So that's gone. I'm going to chop up the rest of it and get down as low as I can with the stump. I don't think I'll get it out. I'd imagine the roots are quite massive. This is our pile of green waste now. I need to get a chainsaw and I can process that down to nothing. Yeah, there's an old tree stump here, something that was kind of big, I suppose, at one stage here. Yeah, so there is a well in the garden. I said the other day in the video. I don't know where it is. I haven't seen anything that looks like a well yet. So there's this selection. Like I say, stuff is kind of random in the garden. You've got this big crops, load of trees here that have been planted. There's beech, there's oak, there's other trees in here, but they're all too close to each other, and they're all clumped over here. So they may have been put in the ground temporarily, and then they just went on. So we'll have to just think about what stays and what goes. You've also got the 3 trees here in the middle, which are kind of, I don't know whether that one's alive. There's no buds on it yet. But yeah, look, we don't like getting rid of stuff. We do know a guy, a Roman, who loves trees, so I'm sure he will take them off our hands rather than us just cutting them up. So yeah, I think we'll end up splitting the garden into a couple of sections, and the way the dogs are at the moment, they're digging. So I don't know whether a lawn will be doable. yeah, maybe a small lawn somewhere. And what we'll do, or a lawn somewhere that they can't get into. Yeah, look, the fine balance. Having a wild garden doesn't work with dogs. They're pooping everywhere. You need to pick up the poop. So, especially with the boys, and the boys need somewhere safe to play. There's lots of roses in this garden, lots of briars, lots of spiky stuff. So I just went through with the brush cutter today, got it down as low as I could. I have no rake. I'm not really tooled up for the garden. I did buy that multi tool there back in the early days of when we started back in November, and I wasn't really impressed with it. Didn't seem to get up to speed, but the actual motor's fine. The trigger, oh my god, you need to you'd need your tin of spinach before you can pull the trigger in all the way. Anyway, it's probably a good thing. Operating that brush cutter at full speed is, it's kind of lethal if it hits something. So running low throttle, low speed does the same job on the easy stuff. Saves on fuel, saves on losing eyes and breaking windows. So yeah, this is the extent of the garden over here. The fence is doing its job. It's not pretty, but it's green. You can't really see it from the house. Um, Keeping the dogs in for the moment. Get rid of that big pile of stuff. And yeah, tip away out here. It'd be nice to have a machine in here. Like you would get in here. If I had a digger, I would get in here and get this all leveled into different levels in a day. But I don't have a digger. And I don't want to take down the fence to get one in. I don't want to have to do all that. So it'll be a slow project. All this soil down here needs to go. So I have a big pile here, which just literally came out of that little pile there and a bit from the front. We've already got this huge mound here. So when we dig this out, I'm going to go down about a foot here. So all that soil needs to come out. It needs to go somewhere. And I ain't lugging it out the front of the house and bringing it somewhere. So I'm going to bring it up here and, maybe fill up that corner dips up there. So I just need to be able to figure out the levels up here, and then the transport, I can bring all this up here. Slow going again, because it's really the wonky steps to get up. And it'll all be done by hand. So it'll be slow, but yeah, it'd be nice to get that done and drained and usable. If we get this bit usable for the summer, it'll be amazing. And then we can tip away up here. So to stay on top of things, I think it's going to go mad when it starts growing. There's lots of nice bits in the garden, but again, there's no real structure or organization. Roses that were kind of here, there, and everywhere, and stuff is just growing when you move it. So there's lots of bulbs in the garden, which I'm sure a lot of them will come back again. But yeah, anyway, that's progress so far. Stay tuned for more. Well, that was a 1 hour and 11 minutes of chopping away here. Look, it's not going to be as bad as I thought. The roots are quite small. There's lots of them. So just a bit more digging. It had grown and grown out into these clumps that had grown themselves. So it's just a bit hard to dig down. but I'll get the rest of that out and that will be gone. Gonzo. I hadn't planned on doing that, but ooh, like a dog with a bone.